Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and you moon over the valley of Aijalon. My goodness, what is happening? My God, what kind of miracle is this? The sun isn't moving. We're doomed. It's a sign from the gods.
After the fall of Jericho, Israel advanced with the strength of a people guided by God. But at Ai, an unexpected defeat shook their confidence and put their faith to the test. It was then that Joshua, humbled but determined, sought the voice of the Most High and returned to battle with a heavenly strategy. That victory paved the way for even greater battles. Kings united against Israel, armies that seemed impossible to defeat, and a day when Joshua commanded the sun to stand still. From there began the conquest that culminated in the division of the Promised Land.
The 5 kings are hiding in a cave. Seal the cave until the battle is over. Let no one escape.
The enemies were trapped between the Israelites in front and the ambushers behind. None escaped. Smoke rose over the mountains as a witness to divine judgment. Joshua did not lower his spear until everything was finished. The king of Ai was captured, and his body was hung on a tree as a symbol of the end of arrogance. The city was reduced to ashes, and the spoils, as the Lord had said, were distributed among the people. That night, the camp was once again filled with song. It was not a song of pride but of gratitude. The men knew that victory did not come by strength nor by cunning, but because God was once again among them. Failure had taught obedience. Discipline had rekindled the fire. Joshua walked alone among the tents while the people slept. He lifted his gaze to the stars and understood that every battle had a purpose. Some to conquer cities, others to conquer the soul. After conquering Ai, Joshua gathered all the people of Israel at the foot of Mount Ebal, as Moses had commanded long ago. There, under the open sky, he built an altar of unhewn stone and consecrated it to the Lord. On it they offered burnt offerings and peace sacrifices, while the smoke rose gently toward the heavens as a symbol of obedience and gratitude. In front of the mountain, Joshua read aloud the entire law of God, the blessings for those who obeyed and the curses for those who turned away. Men, women, children, and foreigners listened in silence. With their hearts moved, there in that sacred valley, the people renewed their covenant with God.
We reaffirm our unity and commitment to this land. So be it.
The echo of the victory at Ai still resounded among the mountains of Canaan.
I can't believe it. They said I was impregnable. What will become of us now? The news is terrible. The leader from the desert is approaching. He will arrive before the new moon. Gods, what will become of us? He's coming for everything we have.
The neighboring peoples trembled when they heard Joshua's name.
Your Majesties, the desert armies are only days away from here. If we don't join forces, we will fall.
And the kings from north to south began to form alliances to resist the invasion of Israel. But while most were preparing for war, one nation decided to survive through deception. Gibeon, a powerful city, well fortified and full of brave men, understood that fighting against Israel was fighting against God himself. So their elders devised a desperate plan.
Hurry up, we have to load this before sunset. Make it look like we've come from far away, right?
Yes, and make sure the bread is really dry. They can't suspect the truth.
Careful, they'll break. I know, but the ruse depends on this. Tie them up and load the donkeys. Make sure they look worn out from a long journey. No one must suspect that we're neighbors. Come on, it's time. Remember the plan? Yes, we'll set out now.
With that disguise of misery, they set out for the camp at Gilgal. When they arrived before Joshua, they bowed with feigned respect.
We come from a very distant land. We have heard of the fame of Jehovah your God and all that he did in Egypt, and how he destroyed the kings of the east. Therefore, make a covenant with us now. Look at our clothes and these old wineskins. Perhaps you likely live near us. How will we know that you are not from this land that the Lord has given us to possess? As you can see, our clothes are worn out and this bread was hot the day we left. The journey has been long and arduous.
The words were convincing, but what made the difference was what Joshua did not do: consult the Lord. Relying on his human judgment, he accepted the deal.
Let this covenant be sealed today. We are one.
So be it.
He and the leaders of Israel made a peace treaty with them, swearing by the Lord that they would let them live.
What a walk. I thought it would never end, but we made it. We are safe.
3 days later, the truth was revealed.
Look, this bread is fresh. They said they came from very far away, and this wineskin is freshly split. They have lied to us, locals in disguise. We have to find them.
Israel discovered that the Gibeonites did not come from distant lands, but lived very close by, within the very promised land. The people's anger was kindled.
They have deceived us. Let's break the covenant and destroy them. We cannot break the oath made in the name of the Lord. Deceit does not nullify the word given before the Most High.
He summoned the Gibeonites.
Why have you deceived us by saying, "We are far from you," when you live nearby? We greatly feared for our lives because of you. Because we knew that the Lord your God had given this land to his people. Now we are in your hands. Do with us as you see fit.
Joshua did not destroy them, but he subjected them.
From today on, you will be workers assigned to serve the camp.
Woodcutters and water carriers for the congregation and for the altar of the Lord. And so, in that very act, in the covenant where man failed by not consulting God, divine mercy was revealed, transforming cunning into service.
Today will be a long day, brother. Yes, but our service is vital to the camp.
The Gibeonites, who sought to save themselves through deception, ended up finding life near the altar. And although their covenant was born out of fear, God used it for his purpose. Sometimes, even man's hasty decisions can become instruments of the divine plan, because the Lord not only rules over the truth, but also over the consequences of error. The covenant with Gibeon had been sealed with an oath, and although it was born out of deception, it would soon become the setting for one of the greatest miracles ever recorded. The neighboring nations, upon learning of the alliance between Israel and the Gibeonites, burned with fury.
Gibeon has joined the Israelites. They have betrayed us. They should be with us, not with them.
To them, Gibeon had betrayed Canaan. Their king, Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, summoned the kings of Hebron, Jarmuth, Lachish, and Eglon. 5 powerful kings joined their armies and marched together with a single purpose: to wipe Gibeon off the map before the power of Israel spread over the whole land.
They're coming! We have to warn Gibeon before it's too late. They're coming for us! It's a huge army! Close the gates, quickly! They've arrived!
While the towers of Gibeon burned on the horizon, exhausted messengers ran to Joshua's camp at Gilgal.
Do not abandon your servants. Come up to us quickly. Save us. All the kings of the Amorites have joined forces against Gibeon.
Joshua rose without hesitation. There was no time to doubt. He gathered all the men of war and marched all night from Gilgal. The army advanced under the starlight, and the sound of their footsteps echoed like a single heartbeat. As they crossed the hills, Jehovah spoke to Joshua.
Do not be afraid of them, for I have delivered them into your hands. None of them will be able to stand against you.
As the sun began to rise, Israel fell upon the Amorites with the force of a storm. The attack was so sudden that the enemy scattered in confusion. Swords gleamed at dawn and the war cries filled the valley. The kings, seeing their army break apart.
This is impossible! They're fleeing like rabbits! Stop them! We're lost! Run! Every man for himself! For Israel!
They fled toward Beth-horon. Joshua gave them no respite. He pursued them down the slope, and there the very heavens intervened. The Lord sent down great hailstones from the sky, so heavy that they killed more men than the sword of Israel. The earth trembled under the roar of battle,
Rivers, hurry! I've lost my spear!
and the heavens opened in justice. The day was progressing, but the victory was not yet complete.
Run, run! It's too big! Go down that way.
The enemies were fleeing west.
They've destroyed us. Run if you want to live. I can't take it anymore.
And the shadow of evening began to fall over the valley.
We can't stop. Sun, stand still over Gibeon. Nor you, moon, in the valley of Ajalon.
And the sky obeyed. The sun stood still.
My God, what kind of wonder is this? The sun isn't moving. We're lost. It's a sign from the gods. And
The moon stopped until the people had avenged themselves on their enemies. The day stretched beyond time.
quick! We must hide in that cave. They found us! Be quiet! They'll hear us. We can't stay here. There they are! Notify Joshua.
The 5 kings are hiding in a cave.
Seal the cave until the battle is over. Let no one escape. Push harder!
Come on, almost there.
Now the last one. Don't let us die here, Your Majesty. They must know we're here. Advance. Glory or death! Advance!
Suspended between light and victory, there was never a day like it, before or after, when God listened to the voice of a man and stopped the stars for the sake of his people. All of creation seemed to hold its breath as Israel finished the battle. The sun stood still on the horizon, as if the entire universe were waiting for the Lord's final word. Only when the last sword was sheathed and the enemies were defeated did the daylight slowly begin to fade.
How much longer, Captain?
A few more hours. Keep watch so they don't try anything.
Joshua returned to the camp at Gilgal with the captive kings.
You have sinned against our God. This is the day of your judgment.
He brought them before the people.
Officers, step forward. Claim this victory. Place your feet upon them.
He humbled them before the leaders of Israel.
Do not be afraid or discouraged. Be strong and courageous, for this is what the Lord will do to you, to all your enemies against whom you fight.
And he hung them on trees by the roadside as a sign of divine judgment upon the enemies of the Lord. That night, the army rested under the sky that had witnessed the power of God. The sky, which once opened to pour down hail, now shone in silence, reflecting the glory of the Most High. Israel understood that there was no force on earth or in heaven that could withstand the God who guided them. Victory did not belong to the sword, but to the command of faith. The sun stood still because one man believed.
Take them down and bring them to the cave where they hid.
The light returned to its natural course, but the war was not over. The defeat of the 5 Amorite kings was only the beginning of a larger, more decisive campaign.
The Israelites are advancing. Their victories are terrifying.
And they say they leave no one alive.
What shall we do?
All of Canaan was beginning to crack like an old wall. And Joshua knew that stopping now would give the enemy time to recover. While the dust of battle still hung over the valleys, Joshua turned to his army, exhausted but fired up.
We will not return to Gilgal. Not while there are kings who defy the God of Israel.
The order fell like iron. No one protested. They had seen the sun stand still. What could a man fear after witnessing that? Conquest of the South. The 5 defeated kings had left behind fortified cities, men, and garrisons. Israel had to crush those strongholds before they could regroup. The first city was Makkedah.
Look, the cloud of dust. It's them. Oh gods, they're here. We have to warn everyone. Run. Abandon the city. Advance, brothers. The city is ours. Victory. Let's go.
Joshua advanced quickly and its fall was swift. The city burned like a torch on the hill, signaling to the others that the hand of God was still outstretched.
There is no rest, no pause. Libnah awaits us. God is with us. Advance without fear.
From Makkedah, Joshua marched to Libnah.
Close the gates! Quickly! Quickly! Push! Look how they fall! Victory is ours!
The walls did not withstand even a day. The city fell without a single enemy sword able to change its fate. From Libnah they advanced toward Lachish, a large and proud city. The Amorites sent reinforcements from Gezer.
Impossible! They've blocked our way! Shield wall! Lower your spears!
But Israel blocked the way like an iron gate. Lachish fell on the second day. Gezer, in trying to help, was also destroyed. Each victory was like a hammer blow to the structure of Canaan. The south was collapsing. Then they marched against Eglon, where the inhabitants barely had time to organize themselves. The city was taken with unstoppable force. Afterwards, they went up to Hebron, one of the oldest strongholds in the region, inhabited by giants and renowned warriors. But reputation did not save its walls. The blade of Israel cut Hebron's power at the root. The southern campaign concluded at Debir, a city known for its wisdom, its scribes, and its ancient archives. Neither tradition nor manuscripts protected it. Debir fell like all the others. When the dust finally settled, a single phrase defined the south. Joshua destroyed everything that rose up against him, as Jehovah had commanded. It was a clean, decisive, unstoppable march.
We now find ourselves in the legendary Promised Land, fully prepared and ready for the challenging conquest of the northern territories.
But the north was not the same as the south. There, the kings were more numerous. The cities were larger and their armies more coordinated. And when they learned what had happened to the Amorites in the south, they realized they were facing a threat they could not ignore. King Jabin of Hazor, the principal city of the north, a vast and powerful kingdom, summoned all the kings from the hills of Hermon to the plains of Mizpah. War chariots came, cavalry, thousands of armed soldiers. Armies so numerous that the text describes them as being like the sand of the sea. It was the largest military alliance Joshua had ever faced. Israel marched toward the waters of Merom, where the enemies had gathered. Everything seemed to point to inevitable defeat. But before fear could reach the camp, God spoke. "Do not be afraid because of them. Tomorrow at this very hour I will deliver them slain." Before Israel. Dawn broke over Merom and Joshua launched a frontal attack. He did not wait for the enemies to come down. He surprised them where they least expected it. "Look!"
With all your strength, it's useless! We're completely stuck in this damn mud! Push! Quick! Grab it! The horse isn't responding! They're sinking! The chariots won't move! Retreat! Fall back!
Hold the line, you useless fools.
It's useless, Your Majesty! We're doomed! Run! Retreat! Retreat! Retreat!
The kings of the north fell back in confusion.
Run! They've broken through the lines! Abandon the chariots! They're stuck! Every man for himself! Follow me, warriors! They won't escape! Advance!
Israel pursued them toward Sidon, Misrephoth Maim, and the valley of Mizpah.
Run to the forest! They're going to catch us! Quick, over the rocks! Advance toward Hazor. Victory awaits us. Advance! Up the stairs. For victory. Quick, move to the inner gate. Clear the streets. My children. Where are my children? Run quickly. Haka! Come on, have mercy. Secure the flanks. For the God of Israel.
Hazor, the capital of the north, fell completely. Its king was executed.
Set everything on fire! Let nothing be left standing! For Israel! Advance!
The city burned. The archives destroyed. The Northern Alliance collapsed in a single day. The land that had resisted for generations fell to the sword of a single man who obeyed God. By the end of those campaigns, both the south and the north were under Israel's control. There were no alliances left to form, nor kings to gather. Joshua had shattered Canaan like a clay vessel under the weight of the Most High. And when silence returned to the valleys, Israel understood something. War is not won by swords alone, but by obedience. A man who listens to the voice of God can drive back entire nations. The sun rose over a different land. It was no longer enemy territory. It was the land God had promised to Abraham, and that now, for the first time, was ready to be inhabited. But conquering a territory is one thing, settling in it is another. Joshua, aged by war. The years had passed. Joshua's skin, once smooth under Moses' shadow, was now marked by scars and the dust of battle. But his eyes still burned with unbreakable conviction. One morning the Lord spoke to him. "You are already old, advanced in years, and there is still much land to possess." It was not a reproach, but a reminder. The conquest did not end with the sword, but with the continued obedience of each tribe. Joshua gathered all Israel at Shiloh, where the tabernacle had been set up in the midst of a quiet valley. The sanctuary's fabrics moved gently in the wind, as if they were breathing. There, in the presence of the Lord, the distribution began. The inheritance of the tribes. First, the land was distributed to the large tribes, those already designated by Moses: Judah, Ephraim, and Manasseh. Judah received the southern mountains, a vast and rugged territory, full of ancient cities and ruined fortresses. The tribe walked among ruins that would one day become the foundations of kings. Ephraim and the half-tribe of Manasseh inherited the fertile hills of the center. Their fields seemed to breathe life, as if the land itself was waiting to be sown. But 7 tribes remained without an allotment. Joshua looked at them firmly. "How long will you wait to take possession of the land that the Lord has given you?" Israel was no longer fleeing. They were no longer in slavery. They were no longer surrounded by giants. The only thing left was to enter. 3 men from each tribe were sent to travel through the land and describe it city by city. For days they walked among hills and valleys.
The deviation at this point is significant according to the astrolabe. We'll have to recalculate the main route. Noted.
Look, the river marks the natural boundary here.
All right. And this flat area is perfect for farming. Noted. The water sources are clear.
When they returned, Joshua cast lots before the Lord. Benjamin received the narrow strip between Judah and Ephraim.
Generations waited for this day. The promise has been fulfilled.
Simeon inherited part of Judah's territory, which was too large for a single tribe. Zebulun received the northern hills, Issachar the vast pastures of the Jezreel Valley, Asher the coast rich in olive groves, Naphtali the highlands near Hermon, and Dan the western region, although later they would seek additional territory due to pressure from the Philistines. Each tribe received land, each family received a home, each man a promise fulfilled. Caleb, the 85-year-old warrior. There was a special moment during the allotment when Caleb, the faithful spy, came before Joshua.
45 years ago, Moses swore that the land where I set my foot would be mine. Now give me this mountain.
The mountain Caleb asked for was not just any territory. It was Hebron, land of giants.
Take it!
The Lord will be with you. We have waited 45 years for this moment. Hebron awaits us, warriors. To victory!
There he defeated the sons of Anak and took possession of Hebron. The fulfilled promise shone brighter than any sword. After the allotment, Israel began to build, to sow, to restore ancient cities, and to raise new ones. The roads filled with caravans and the wheat fields waved under the sun.
This is the very first true and lasting peace the people have known since their journey from Egypt, a land that finally rests peacefully.
The war had been long, the conquest hard, but every valley conquered, every mountain inherited, was a living testimony that God keeps his promises, even if he must stop the sun to do so. The land was silent, not the silence of lurking war, but the silence of fulfilled peace. Canaan, once a land of giants, was now a country breathing hope. Vineyards grew on hills that had once been battlefields. Children played where once the cries of war had been heard. The elders told stories of Egypt, of the desert, of the parted Jordan, and of a man who had led an entire nation with a steady sword and an obedient heart. That man was Joshua. Time had left deep marks on his face. His hair, once as dark as the soil of Egypt, was now as white as the sands of the Zin desert. His back was still straight, but it was the uprightness of an oak aged by the winds, not the strength of youth. Joshua knew his time was drawing near. The years do not forgive, but neither do they lie. When a servant has fulfilled his mission, he feels it in his bones, in his soul, and in the echo of heaven. That is why he summoned all of Israel one last time. The assembly at Shechem. From every tribe, from all the newly inherited territories, families traveled to Shechem.
Take heart. The sacred assembly awaits us in Shechem. May the Lord give us strength to arrive soon.
They climbed the ancient paths between Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim, the very mountains where Joshua had once built the altar of the covenant. Shechem was not just any place. There, Abraham had heard the promise. There, Jacob had buried his family's idols. There, Israel had renewed its covenant with the Most High. Now it would be the setting for the general's final speech. The tribe settled in front of him, beneath the shade of a great oak that had witnessed entire generations.
People of Israel, listen to my words. The time has come to choose whom you will serve. The Lord your God fought for you. He brought down giants, parted rivers, delivered kingdoms, and fulfilled every promise.
The people listened in silence. Many had tears in their eyes. Those words were not theory, they were living memory.
But I say to you, guard your hearts. Do not turn to the gods of these nations. Do not make a covenant with them. You know this. A spark of idolatry becomes a fire that consumes entire nations. Choose today whom you will serve. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
We will serve the Lord with all our hearts and minds, with unwavering faith.
You are witnesses, for the Lord is a holy God, a jealous God. If you abandon him, it will be to your harm.
We will serve the Lord, and we will obey his voice with all our hearts.
This stone will be a witness between us, for it has heard all the words of the Lord.
It was a covenant engraved not only on scrolls but on mountains. After the assembly, Joshua returned to his inheritance in Timnath-Serah. The sun was setting behind the mountains of Ephraim as the old man walked for the last time among the fields he himself had helped to divide. The breeze stirred the ears of grain, as if the land itself were bidding him farewell. One night, while the stars shone over Canaan like lamps of the eternal tabernacle, the servant of God closed his eyes. Joshua, son of Nun, servant of the Lord, died at the age of 110. They buried him in Timnath-Serah on the northern side of Mount Ephraim. There were no palaces, No golden monuments, no processions. Only a grateful people and a land that had been changed forever, thanks to a man who dared to believe God more than his own fears. An impossible legacy to erase. The tribes continued serving the Lord as long as Joshua lived, and the elders who were with him. The generation that saw Jericho fall, that crossed the Jordan, that saw the sun stand still, that generation did not forget. Because Joshua not only conquered territories, he conquered hearts. His story became a whisper that traveled through the centuries. That the God who parts rivers still guides those who obey him. That faith can make mountains move back. And that a devoted man can change the destiny of an entire nation. Joshua was not great because of his sword. He was great because of his obedience. And that is the deepest mark he left on the promised land. If this story touched your heart, give it a like and share it to spread this message. And if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to keep hearing these stories that come to life. If you enjoyed this story, let me know in the comments and declare with me.
Carefully choose today whom you will serve. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.